So again, just want to let you all know that my book is out, The Falling Away, how the book of Revelation shows that we are living in the last days and predicts the rise of Pope Francis and the destruction of the Vatican, aka falling away. So it's going to help you understand Bible prophecy if you feel that these are the last days, but don't know where to look or what to look for. My book will serve you well in doing that. Bring you up to speed with prophecies that happened in the past, present, and what to look forward to. But here's something I want to bring to your attention. Now, previously, I've shown you, and I'm discussing for the last 11 years, how Pope Francis is the one that's going to be the false prophet, and Prince Hassan of Jordan is the one that's going to be the Antichrist. And in doing so, I explained so many different times how everything points to these two, the false prophet, the Antichrist, the serpent or the serpent bearer, or the white horse and the rider. And I keep showing this over and over and over again, but I want to bring some news to your attention since I'm your watchman. So let's see what's happening right now in the world. Now, before I show you what's happening in the world, here's something I want to bring to your attention. Now, I've explained this before, but again, I want to bring an awareness to you. This map shows you how the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan, the descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, ruled the entire Middle East after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. And at the time, as time would progress, they would end up losing the regions of Iraq, Syria, and Mecca, or where it's called Arabia, which is now called Saudi Arabia, but once it was called the Hashemite Kingdom of Arabia. But nonetheless, at the time that we see today, the only thing that the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan has is actually just Jordan. But these was once the kingdom that belonged to the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. The prophecy that we need to look forward to, though, is the prophecy about the Antichrist becoming the Assyrian. Now, what does that mean, the Assyrian? Well, it talks about the region in which the Antichrist will gain control of in the Middle East. And this is what it talks about in particular, that biblical region of Assyria that you see here is presently known as the regions of Iraq and Syria. It's the very name in ISIS. If you remember during the Iraq War, ISIS stands for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. So even they understood the significance of controlling that region of the world, which the Antichrist will do as well, controlling regions of Iraq and Syria. So a prophecy is, in Isaiah 10:24, the Antichrist is called the Assyrian. Now, if you look here, what we need to do, or what I've been saying we need to watch for, is when Prince Hassan bin Talal is crowned king at the first seal to go conquering and to conquer. This is when he's going to reclaim the territories of Syria and Iraq. So they need to be volatile enough that he can go in and capture it and become the ruler of what his royal family once held control of at the fall of the Ottoman Empire. Now, if you look here, what we're talking about is we're waiting for Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan to be crowned king. And we're waiting for him to take control of and become the ruler of Iraq and Syria in order to fulfill the prophecy of becoming the Assyrian. And if you look here in my book, it says First Chronicles. And actually, you can see it right here on the screen, right there on the screen where it's next to, right above me, it says First Chronicles. Second Chronicles is going to be about him, because First Chronicles, again, just brings you up to speed with prophecies that already happened, what's happening now, and what to look forward to. Second Chronicles is going to be about him. Now, this is the thing that I've been saying and what we need to watch for. Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan to become ruler of Iraq and Syria. And just now, we find a significant movement that's happening in Syria that's making it so volatile that, again, they're going to call for someone to step in and bring peace to this region of Syria. And guess who the candidate's going to be? And so let's take a look as terms of what's happening in Syria. In order to be so volatile, the world's going to call for someone to step in and control and bring order to Syria, which will be Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan, to fulfill the prophecy of him becoming the Assyrian. So let's take a look. So I'm going to read the text right here. Syrian rebels reached the city of Aleppo, according to fighters in War Monitor, raising fears that the nation's civil war is reigniting. So this is happening right now in real time. Syria is going through a civil war right now, and they're approaching the capital, which seems to suggest Syria is going to go through internal conflict. And if Syria is going to go through internal conflict and it's going to be going through the civil war, then it's going to be volatile. And the world's going to call for order to come to Syria. And if that's the case, where we see Syria's going, the world's going to call for order to come to Syria, well, guess who's going to step in? Guess who's going to be the likely candidate to bring order to Syria? It's going to be Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan. And if you doubt me, let me show you this. So take a look at this. This was during the Iraq War. Guess who they wanted to prop up as a mediator and possible ruler over Iraq? The man who could be king. He should have been crowned king of Jordan, but his brother on his deathbed had changed of heart. Now Prince Hassan said he would be happy to mediate between Saddam Hussein and the world. Could the man once destined to be king of Jordan end up as king of Iraq? But the former crown prince Hassan would not reject another notion being mooted that he should go to Baghdad as a mediator. So we see that even as far as back the Iraq war, Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan was one considered to be the king of Iraq because of all the infighting and conflict. Someone had to go in there to be a mediator because this is what he's destined to be based off the prophecy of Prince Hassan bin Talal becoming the Assyrian, taking back the kingdom that was once belonged to his uncle, King Faisal, talking about specifically Syria and Iraq. So now you're starting to see how all this is now moving closer together. And I guess Iraq is going to end up doing the same thing, or he's going to go conquering and to conquer Iraq in order to be that ruler. But that's one thing for sure, is we're seeing the volatility in Syria in order for him to fulfill the prophecy of becoming the Assyrian. And again, this happens after he's getting the crown to go conquering and to conquer, because he needs the military might of the 10 kings with Pope Francis. He can't do it on his own. That's what he's been waiting for. You can't have the Antichrist without the false prophet. You can't have the false prophet without the 10 kings and the subsequent things that happens prior to it, where the 10 kings are here, but that's what we're waiting for. Power and authority to be given to them with Pope Francis, then to Pope Francis, then Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan to go conquer and to conquer when he's crowned king. So the key is watching for him. And when he's crowned king, when Prince Hassan bin Talal is crowned king, the first seal would have been open.